Alrighty, it is practically the moment we've all been waiting for. Welcome to Jay's One Key Tournament, also known as Joke. I'm Walmart5193. Joining me in the booth is Sparky. How's it going, Sparky?
It's going absolutely fantastic. It has been a pretty electrifying start to the weekend so far. A couple of very exciting matches have come and gone already, and we're up for a potential doubleheader in the next couple of minutes. We've got LS Ham going against Happer Gamer, and then we have absolutely another match happening. Can't remember the two players that are going to be going over there, but we'll have them potentially if this one ends pretty quickly. So excited for some more one key action.
It's going to be Backfire versus ForestMastr. Gonna be rounding out that doubleheader. But yeah, what else is there more to say about this? But we have the 1 seed. I don't think Alice Ham needs any introduction to this scene, especially this being a 1 key tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Our defending champion from JOKE3 making their return, claiming that #1 seed. Pretty close, actually. I was going to say pretty convincingly, but it was actually by, I think, a couple hundred points between themselves and the #2 seed. So not a lot of a gap between the two of them. It would be very interesting to see how that progresses through the bracket as we wait for our 32 seed to make their appearance. Happer Gamer not online at the moment, and the reason we haven't brought you the other match either is because we're waiting for Backfire also. So
oh, how convenient.
Yeah, so we'll have a nice little 8-minute powwow, and if one of the two of them arrives, feels like showing up for their match, we'll switch over to one of those two matches. But I mean, at the very least, we can talk about some of the matches we've had so far. We've had
a little podcast.
We've had 4 matches already. We've got Zero Kungs and Dectopia. Dectopia actually pulling off the upset on Zero Kungs for the first actual match of the weekend. Punish beating Nathan 79-78 thereafter. And then myself, I won my match 2 hours ago. So
yeah, congratulations for not only winning the match, but I'm pretty sure I told you this off stream. Surviving Sider's warm-up.
Yeah, that was definitely an experience. I went into that match knowing full well they had something goofy loaded up, but it was just a matter of what atrocity they were about to inflict me with. But I mean, that's also,
yeah, very interesting. And also, not to mention the scrims we've actually had in the background. I believe we had Ham versus Sparxe, I think. Am I correct on that one?
It was either Sparxe or it was Jay, one of the two. I know, like you said, there were a couple of show matches. I think yourself actually threw down with one of our other non-qualifiers in where we actually are 33rd seed. So
yes.
And it was the Ham versus Sparxe match, and Sparxe winning the tiebreaker, which means that they won the match, regardless of the score.
Yeah, me versus Mari was very interesting. I know Mari had a lot of 1 key experience and was really anticipating on qualifying, but sadly that C33 kind of just shattered both of our hearts. So I just said, you know what, screw it. let's throw a little fun scrim. And oh boy, when I looked over the video, man, it was close.
Yeah, it was very close, and it looks like there's some discussions going on. Potential show match happening before us right now. Ham and ForestMastr, the 2 players that have shown up. We'll wait for that 10 minutes to expire before we take that idea any further, but they'll get that set up in the background regardless, because it looks like we have a double. We had a double header. We have a double no-show. You love to see it. The thing that is going to throw the bracket into disarray is the fact that Backfire is the higher seeded opponent between themselves and ForestMastr. So them going into that losers bracket gonna put a little bit of fear into whoever is gonna be going up against them next weekend. That is if they show up.
Yeah, not to mention that is our seed 8, I believe. So seeing them in the losers bracket, if it does end up to be a win by default, is going to be kind of scary. I mean, we already seen an upset earlier this morning with, I believe, like you mentioned earlier, it was, if I'm corrected, Zero Kung's our 12th.
Yeah, versus Dectopia. So maybe not the biggest upset, but still an upset nonetheless. It's really rare to see the blue side coming out on top on these opening weekends because of the fact that the higher seeded players in this tournament are just like there's definitely floors, there's levels to the relative skill gap between the 17 to 32 and the 1 through 16, and I think it reaches like that the closest mark between 16 and 17. I think once you cross that, you get the players that are like able to hold their own on Rice, to be able to hold their own on the LN and the hybrids. Whereas the lower seeds, you have some that may or may not struggle on one aspect or the other. So seeing somebody in the top 16 down in that lower bracket is going to be terrifying.
Yes, for sure. I will definitely say my condolences to all of our players ending up, unfortunately, being sent down to the losers bracket, having to go up against the absolute beasts that will be waiting for them.
Oh, absolutely. And right now we are waiting. There's about 3 minutes left before we can officially call it a win by default. Gotta make sure, give the players their fair shake at trying to make it to their match, and just see if maybe the alarm went off late, or maybe they're just rushing in from making it home from somewhere. I know I myself was running against the clock a little bit. Had an event to go to that I finished up just before my match, so definitely is possible.
If I had $1 for every time that's happened to me, I would be a millionaire. I have my fair share of experiences of having to race the clock to either staffing or having to just even play like an actual match.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, life does sometimes get in the way. We definitely understand, but
yes,
always got to double check that schedule. Make sure that you're ready and available. That's why you get it a week in advance, so that you can reschedule accordingly. But I'm pretty sure some of these players, especially, I don't blame Apper Gamer in their regard, because I think there was a bit of a foregone conclusion of seeing Ham's scores on the qualifiers. I was talking to you actually before this match started that there are a couple of maps in this pool where if they don't pull off a like close to 1 mil, I'd be incredibly disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. And back to those close calls, I think my closest call was probably in Combo Cup back in like November.
Oh god, that's a name I haven't heard in a hot minute.
Yeah, I know. It was, I believe, in during semis. Our match was scheduled to be 20:30 UTC Friday. So on a Friday, you're at school, and I had to race the clock home from my bus, and I barely made it.
Yeah, it's definitely adds a little bit of spice to match time. So
yeah, I can picture it being like I think it's called 24 Hours, the show. Kind of something like that.
You just see like the clock.
Yeah, where you just see the clock in the middle.
Man, I missed that show. That's one that I was too young to understand when it was at its peak.
I just remember seeing a reference in a Simpsons episode. And we have 3 seconds left. 2, 1, and it is unfortunately gonna have to be win by default for LS Ham and Forest Gamer.
Yeah,
or
so
ForestMastr.
congratulations to them for advancing to the round of 16 with the least amount of pressure possible. Gotta love it when you manage to get a freebie on the opening weekend. Keep your winners bracket run alive just a little bit longer. Unfortunate for the two that couldn't make it. Hopefully they make it next weekend. They're not eliminated just yet, but gonna be playing with a little bit of fire.
Yes, for sure. And also, Sparky, while we were here in this booth, your opponent was just determined for next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew it was gonna happen. Like I said, there really wasn't a world in which Ham wasn't going to win that match. But I look forward to getting absolutely steamrolled next weekend. It's going to be hilarious. But I'll show up at least.
And welcome to our unknown round, where we're going to throw a little bit of a show match.
Yeah.
We don't want to end this stream on a very abrupt note, so a little bit of fun. We'll give our two players who showed up, who were marked as present to their match, a little bit of a show match, just kind of 1v1 each other, just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun. Just to gain some experience. I mean, I think this would help out ForestMastr more than it does Ham because of the fact that Ham is such a seasoned one-key player. But just getting the match jitters out of the way and just experiencing the match proceedings, you kind of get more used to it. So right now we're going to play a warm-up. This is a Ham special. They made the song and they made the chart too. So just a whole shebang here as we roll on into it.
Wait, I could be losing my mind. Did Ham play in all three jokes, or just joke 2 and 3?
I believe just 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking through joke 1, and I'm not seeing Ham.
Yeah, I think they really clung on to, or basically caught the one key bug after joke 2, so they've kind of stuck with it. They've been a very massive advocate for one key as a whole, really promoting it wherever they can and basically improving on it beyond just the tournament. Like some really impressive scores on some of the few love charts that are out there. Incredible accuracy, just a level of consistency above what a lot of the players in this tournament can come to offer. But that being said, I don't think they'll find it as much of a walk in the park once they reach the later game, because you start to run into some really devastatingly accurate Taiko players that have really started to learn the ins and outs of one key. I think once they really start to hunker down in terms of their hybrid and LN abilities, could give Ham a little bit of a run for their money to try and defend that crown.
Yeah, as we are being invaded by Taiko players. I mean, it is very, like, I'm pretty sure any, like, one from any game mode, I don't think Catch the Beat would work out, but you're just smashing one key.
Yeah. I mean, we've had plenty of representation from, Taiko's 1. That's the most obvious one because of the fact that it's basically just vertical Taiko. But a lot of standard players actually trying their hand in the last edition, and I think there's a couple in this tournament as well. I know Jackson comes to mind as a pretty proficient standard player trying their hand in one key realm. Unfortunately, they also didn't make it to their match. They're going to be down in the losers bracket. But I look forward to seeing what they're capable of once they actually do wake up on time for their match.
Yeah, we're going to have to hopefully see if Jay can also get the funds to mail individually every single player an alarm clocks so they can actually wake up on time for their match.
All right, to be fair, the prize pool for this tournament is actually pretty big for considering.
I think like 436 Canadian dollars or something like that.
I don't know about Canadian, but I know in Australian dollars it crosses 400. I think it's like 260 US, but Regardless, that'll do it for
Oh,
the warm up here. Ham with a very
if it's
casual 2 miss.
yeah, from Ham, and especially with what there's like 320 bursts in here, just casually.
Oh yeah,
I
it
mean,
throws a whole bag at you, but ForestMastr with the A rank probably on the sight read as well. Pretty commendable score, all things said and done. Being able to do that on a whim is actually pretty impressive, actually.
not only does Ham have the mappers advantage, they also have like the entire song advantage because they
Oh
made
yeah,
this song.
not very many people can say that they map the chart to get mappers advantage, but also song advantage. Like they know the ins and outs of
Yeah,
everything.
but it is
And
now strategy time, and not even going to think any
no
further.
thought.
SB1 just getting the boot.
Oh, to the absolute pain of our hosts. A lot of love put into that SV chart, and Ham not willing to even entertain the thought of going for the SV pick, and ForestMastr going to ban out the speed pick. Very understandable.
Ooh.
Some of those bursts get pretty hard to navigate. A lot of fivelets thrown in there just for good measure, and with Ham being able to handle the more technical things, makes a lot of sense. And they're going to go for Turbo, actually, to start things off.
Don't worry. We ban SV, we got Turbo in here. This is like our backup for the SV. Turbo is hands down my favorite map in this pool.
Oh, absolutely. This is such an incredible song to have in this pool. And I think you guys have alluded to this in previous matches. The real meat and potatoes of this chart is literally the opening burst. If you can handle that opening burst and make it through relatively unscathed, and then the rest of the chart's pretty straightforward. There's really not a lot of curveballs thrown at you. It's a really quick. It's a quick 1/4 thrown into 2 1/4s into a 9-lit. See if they can hit it. And sure enough, both of them actually making it through with a couple of 300s to their names. And this should set up pretty nicely for ForestMastr.
Now, my question stands. We need to make our predictions. What 999K will Ellis Ham get?
Oh, any of the right.
He gets a 999. No. I'm thinking Ham gets like a 999.1 on this.
Oh, it's pretty likely. I think the 300s at the beginning might put a little bit of a damper on that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a 997 potentially. It really just comes down to if they can keep the stream steady when it transitions into the LNs. And sure enough, the first real major one, able to handle it pretty nicely. And ForestMastr actually keeping pace here. 99.68 for them. Actually, pretty huge, as Ham actually finds the first break of the chart, and it gives ForestMastr the fact that they're over that 400 combo cap just immediately skyrockets the lead 15,000 points in their favor.
That is actually practically the biggest curveball thrown. Oh, and ForestMastr trades that back, and that was more nasty. And there was map to work with here. I don't think enough for Ham to get to that 400 cap, but he'll be damn near close to that cap.
Yeah, he's going to be able to just claw back this lead by force because of the fact that they had a bit of a cleaner miss. I think the timing really comes into play as well. It's going to start steadily going their way, especially with the fact that they now have that 0.2% lead in terms of their accuracy. So a little bit of a hiccup. I mean, it is still a show match after all. So I imagine the total amount of effort they would have put is a little bit lower, but I'm pretty sure he'll be annoyed because of the fact that he missed.
And oh my god,
Yeah,
that
46
ratio.
is 46
that
is
probably would
ridiculous.
have been a 997 for sure. Like a 997, low 998, probably around that margin. And oh man.
Yeah. And ForestMastr are actually doing pretty well for themselves as well. 151 miss, 963k. That's about average or above average for a lot of the players in this round. So they can kind of hang their hat on that, being able to at least hold on to the lead for a little bit before that unfortunate slip up. And if they manage to get TFC, then I mean that could have been a pretty strong point to start off with.
And we're getting into burnt rice now, so this still keeping in that long note range, but actually this is our more long note or more like rice based hybrid, I would say. At least from my experience, there are some wicked curveballs thrown in this.
Oh, absolutely.
like it goes from 150, like from late 150 stream to just absolute 300 bursts at some points. And then there's of course the LN in here that could definitely throw off some players. But we got him in here.
Yeah, but not impervious to finding the slip-ups here or there, so definitely needs to watch their back because of the fact that ForestMastr does have some capability of being able to match toe-to-toe, at least through the early goings. I'll retain judgment until we reach those sextuplet bursts towards the end. We've seen some players attempt this chart in match already, and everything goes fine. These opening patterns aren't the worst. There's the first sextuplet that we're going to be seeing, and that's going to be the central theme. If you can handle those quick bursts, then the rest of the chart becomes pretty trivial. But they just come in an onslaught towards the end, so gonna watch out for it as we transition on into the second third here.
And Ham just unfazed.
Yeah, these shorter LNs, these blue notes that you're seeing here, when you get into those 1/4 streams, you can kind of just play them like Rice and get away with some pretty good accuracy, especially if you're pretty dead center. So as we continue on here, 99.95, 99.66 for ForestMastr, being able to keep this lead in check for Ham and being able to capitalize on a potential slip up from them. Gonna wait and see how they handle this. Ending at 200 coming out from Ham as well. Gonna shrink this lead pretty massively. About 0.2% lost for them. And now we are playing tug of war with this leaderboard. And here are those 1/6. They are consecutive back-to-back.
And both players yet again unfazed by these bursts. It's going back and forth.
Yeah, the fact that ForestMastr is able to keep those bursts clean is doing dividends for them. Only 600% between the two of them, but
No!
finds the break, unable to keep the consistency through the end. They were doing so well during the first part, but unfortunately not able to hang on to the end, and Ham picks up their second point in this match. 33 is disgusting. The 100 kind of putting a blemish.
That is a number and a half. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You think that would have been probably just I think that might have been like a high 998. Oh my god. Ham, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're just gaming. And ForestMastr going to go for the stream pick here now. Going to go into Infinity Heaven.
Okay. This is where we see a 999K.
Yeah, I mean, if Ham can keep the consistency up, there's been a couple of hiccups here and there, but like I said, Showmatch, not really putting forth full effort, maybe masking the score a little bit because they know they're going to have some pretty intense opponents coming after this match. Myself, not, I'm like a little speed bump on the road to the actual people that he'll need to actually try against. But
yeah, Sparky, I hope you're taking notes looking at Ham right now.
I know what he's capable of. If I can come within like 4-digit points of a Ham score, I'll be happy. But that being said, we continue on here, and the players starting off basically dead even through this introduction.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, like, don't underestimate ForestMastr here as we continue on here. The fact that they're able to keep pace, now it's just a matter of can they maintain the consistency through these 1/4 gallops before we dive on into the real heavy 1/4 streams.
And those beginning 300s are the only 300s you'll see from Ham.
Yeah, basically. Once you dial in, it's basically going to be dead center UR bars. And actually, both of them keeping pace with each other. 99.93s for the two of them. They are dead even. There is no flickering in the middle. Bar for 1/300 here or there. The fact that they're able to keep this level of consistency is insane so far. Only about 1,000 points in favor of Ham as the 300 starts to rain down from ForestMastr. Both of them in that 99.9% mark. These stream picks, as we continue on through this tournament, are going to be so interesting to keep track of because of the fact that so many players had such amazing scores in the qualifiers on a pick like this. It is just a comfort zone for a lot of players.
And yeah, look at Ham's unstable rate.
I mean, if that's not like 5 and 5 millisecond either side, I'd be surprised. But I mean, that being said, you have ForestMastr on the other side, 99.9, 99.96, ready to capitalize on any potential mistakes that Ham makes. It's just, I don't even want to call them mistakes. They're just normal human play. It's just the fact that Ham is so seasoned at this key mode that any little hiccup and they're able to capitalize. It's already 1,700 points. It would take 1-200 to basically ruin this performance, but hats off. This is incredible play from both of these players so far. And double 996k plus 2964. Imagine getting
V1 double S.
Yeah, this 64 is enough to beat basically like 95% of this bracket. Ham with the 29. Yeah, Ham with the 29. The fact that 29 is not safe from some of the players around the 2 to 5 seed range is crazy.
And we're gonna see Ham pick play poker. So the only issue I can really see are those really fast. I think they're 1/8, maybe even like those very fast 2-note
the doublets.
jacks.
Yes.
Yeah, the doublets.
Yeah, they're just real quick bursts. Very easy to slip up on those. If not missing, just dropping errant 300s or 200s if you kind of crush them or play them a little bit too lackadaisically. But going through that introduction, ForestMastr picking up a number of 300s, maybe not settling into the rhythm that quickly, but yeah, be able to climb back up just a little bit, but it does give Ham a bit of a cushion to work with for now.
And this lead is actually flickering a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna trickle every time Ham hits a 300. It's gonna kind of flinch over to the right hand side, but I think it's gonna come down to if Ham can V1 double S, there's really not much ForestMastr can do in this regard. They just need to maintain this consistency. These rice picks have really been working out in their favor so far. 99.8, 99.95 for both of these players respectively. Ham hanging on to this 3,000 point lead. This is the shortest song in the pool, and the fact that we're already down to the last 8th, they're going to cross this 400 combo cap for the briefest of moments, and then the song is going to end. And as they make it through, ForestMastr trips up on the doublet transition back into the 1 force, and that is going to spell the end. Ham wins this show match 4-0, but I didn't even see the 200 come out. That is
a guaranteed 999k.
Somewhere around there. That is crazy.
And we're going to see a tiebreaker show match as well. Oh, man. We're not putting up the winner's screen. I guess we can put up the winner's screen. I was about to say tiebreaker first, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that Ham absolutely steamrolls this match, but still ForestMastr put up an insanely good effort. Nearly taking some points off of Ham. It was just the sad case of either just maybe nerves or just pure choke. But oh man, don't be intimidated or don't be thinking that since ForestMastr is on the lower side of the seedings, do not underestimate them one bit.
Yeah, and it really is just sad that we're not going to see what they could have done against their actual opponent, because I mean that could have been a potential like organic upset. Like the level of performance that ForestMastr put up in this match is something to behold for their next opponent. Don't underestimate them, especially on those rice picks. Being able to maintain that level of consistency for that long is a skill that you need to have in this chemo, because things can go south so quickly, and we might see that demonstrated on this tiebreaker. There's so many patterns to choke on, and if you flub a pattern, you basically kiss that entire screen goodbye as we get on into it.
And we got Ham doing Ham things and ForestMastr doing ForestMastr things. Oh, Ham!
Yeah, Ham doing Ham things. Ham slipping up on the LN transition back into the 1-4s. And like I was saying, if find a drop there, you kiss the entire next section goodbye. ForestMastr does eventually trade it back. So 1-for-1 on those misses. And it's only about a 10th of a percent. Both of them actually taking a considerable amount of damage to their accuracy. This next section is going to be the real test. ForestMastr missing it on the transition into it. And gives Ham a little bit more cushion to work with. As we wait for Bancho to get its rear in gear. See if we didn't unfortunately disconnect one of the players. I mean, there is a lot of events going on right now. Maybe the servers are a little busy right now, but looks like ForestMastr came back.
Uh-oh, did Ham DC?
It'd be funny if Ham kind of reflexively after that first miss, maybe just saw a couple of more 300s. They were like, nah, double tap escape and left the match. You know how sometimes players kind of just instinctively want to restart. So we'll get some audio free, DMCA free. Oh, here we go. Reconnected, but severely desynced. So ForestMastr going to be ahead for right now, as this will basically be the trial of Ham clawing back this margin for now, at least until we get to the ending here.
Yeah, and already we're seeing the lead being crawled back, and the map's not even over yet.
Yeah, basically into the back half, there's a bit of a cushion, and Ham finding another slip up here. That's interesting. This is some pretty technical patterning. These broken 1-4s not always ending on the hand you're expecting. Some alternating patterns that you need to be kind of privy to. Not the easiest to single tap if you're trying to go that route, but Ham makes it through. Takes a couple more 200s on the transition out of it, but still holding on to this 99.2. And Walmart, I don't know about you, but we're saying this is going to be the quest for Ham to claw this lead back. But with that miss, ForestMastr actually has an opportunity to stay ahead, especially if they can cross that 400 combo cap. I'm actually not sure if Ham would actually be in the lead once this song ends for both players. But as I say that, ForestMastr does find the break. That is unfortunate. They hit all the tricky stuff in the middle, and finding the break on this stream, not going to be the best for them. This actually does give Ham an opportunity to start to claw back some of this deficit as they enter this 1-4 stream section. So we continue on into the last 8 for ForestMastr, into the last quarter for Ham. It's still 110,000 points for ForestMastr in terms of a head start, and Ham climbing up at a similar pace to ForestMastr in terms of accuracy. It's still 2/10 between them, but an extra miss for Ham at the moment might give ForestMastr enough of a cushion to stay ahead on this tiebreaker.
Yeah, and as the map does come to an end on Master's side almost, they just have to deal with this last section of, I believe those are quadruplets?
Yeah, quadruplets, and yeah, a lot of quads, a lot of 6-note bursts, a lot of 2 notes, 3 notes as well, just for good measure. Kind of the whole kitchen sink thrown at you for that round of 32 tiebreaker. And there it is, a 950k for ForestMastr. I think Ham has just enough in terms of accuracy to maybe claw like a 965. Remains to be seen, but yeah, a 3-miss run on the tiebreaker for round of 32 is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a
and
70.
The score just kind of collapsed, but 19,000, and oh my god, what is that ratio?
Yeah, 95 300s. That's to be expected. The 200 count, little sketchy actually. Maybe just a bad run on one of the streams, just accounting for it.
But a couple spacebar overhits, maybe.
Yeah, but with that being said, that will do it for the show match here. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Unfortunate that both these players can hold their head high, winning their respective matches. But unfortunately, we
Yes.
didn't get the actual matches. It would have been exciting to see what ForestMastr could have done against Backfire, but they don't have to worry about it. They made it through to the round of 16 with minimal effort, the best kind of effort. And as for us, we'll be taking a bit of a lengthy break between this and the next match.
Yeah, we will not be back until 2 UTC, where we're going to be seeing Grape Tea versus APRL 03 at 2 UTC. So that is a while from now. That's roughly 3.5 hours. So we can sign off right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed. We'll be back, hopefully, if we can wrangle some volunteers for that. And until then, we'll catch you guys later.